When I walk up in the club and sing, everybody want to know my name. Yeah, here comes the glass road. Yeah, here comes the glass road.
I'm back! Yeah, I'm back. I know what you guys are thinking. No more using the word phylogenist. I've realized what they're called. They're called phylogeneticists. That's what people that do phylogenetics are called, right? Because they're geneticists, but they're phylogeneticists, but they're actually geneticists that specialize in philo. Yeah. All right. So the reason I'm back is because I was sitting here thinking about Netflix, and I was going, all right, dude, what's the difference between 4K and HD? Because I'm about to start shooting in 4K next week. It's going to be the greatest moment of my life. No one's going to even see it except I'm going to be able to crop and still have HD for my cropped footage. Because I'm going to post in HD because 4K, in my opinion, is bad for the planet. Why? Okay, so I looked it up, and an hour of video in 4K is 100 gigabytes versus a typical video streamed in HD is 4 to 8 gigabytes. So this other one I'm looking at says there's a comparison between 12.7 gigabytes of storage for HD versus 110 gigabytes of storage for 4K. And so I know what you guys are thinking. This must mean that Netflix is evil. They are consuming the most electricity of all. They're so bad. And I looked it up, and Netflix's energy consumption increased by 84% in 2019 to a total of 451,000 megawatt hours, enough to power 40,000 average US homes. So that's a substantial amount of electricity. I think, in my opinion, Netflix should probably just drop to HD for everyone, because who can tell the difference between HD and 4K? No one here does, but then again, it's just me and an old horny dude back there with the horns on his head. Okay, so let's compare Netflix to Bitcoin. Bitcoin uses more energy than the entire country of Argentina. What is Bitcoin? Like how does Bitcoin use that much electricity? Well, what does Bitcoin do? All Bitcoin does, like when they're trying to find new Bitcoins, is they have a massive amount of computers using electricity to do computations to try to find a hash that matches their algorithm. So I mentioned hashes. I'm sure that everyone went, what are you talking about hashes? I have no idea what he's talking about. There's something called a hash. And what I'll tell you is a hash is the result of a mathematical calculation done on binary that results in a uniform amount of digits. Like it could be 256 bits, which would be 256 ones and zeros. It could be 512. It depends on the hash. And each time it goes from the binary, which, what is the binary? The binary could be words. Like, I love dogs. I have that in a series of words that, or I have in a series of characters, which characters make up a word, and then you hash it. And then what it takes is the value of each byte, which is 7 bits. And then, so it's each bit actually, and then it does a mathematical calculation on it and it converts it to something else. So I love dogs would calculate to the same size hash as a video that's 110 gigabytes. And usually it's used to verify the integrity of data. So you want to make sure that your software didn't change and you want to make sure that you didn't get hacked, then you can hash the binary from the software and it will turn it into something that's like 256 maybe bits or bytes. I'm not sure if it's bytes or bits. Oh gosh, all the computer people are going to be so ashamed of me. I don't know if it's bits or bytes. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. It could be 512. It really depends. So when you type in a password, what do you do with that password? Well, your computer hashes it. So when you log on to the internet, you get on your Wi-Fi, what does it do? It hashes password combine with your SSID, the name of your network. And that's why my SSID is that's my SSID. No one knows the name of my SSID because I don't want anybody, because I don't want them to be able to create what's called rainbow tables, which means pre-prepared hashes. I want them to have to rehash it if they find out my SSID. And that's why it's a good idea to change your SSID sometimes. Anyways, what I'm talking about is why password cracking is actually worse. I would be shocked if the United States government spends less electricity on hacking passwords than Netflix spends on the entire United States internet, even though Netflix is doing 4K video. I saw 4K Ultra is kind of the thing to do. I don't know the difference between the data on the file sizes on 4K Ultra and HD, but I know that it's probably more than 4K. I don't actually know that, but I'm just saying it's very likely. What I'm trying to say is when we're trying to find computer space to do these calculations and we're thinking, where can we get it? Well, we can make sure that no one is making Bitcoin in our country anymore and use their computers to do Bitcoin and use their computers to sequence genetics. Because what do we need? We need more computers that are doing genomic sequencing, right? Yes, we do. And we need more people analyzing the results of the sequencing. So I'm trying to solve this problem, which is we have to make sure we can catch these variants. And so when the United States government is having trouble catching variants, and they're going, why are we having trouble catching variants? We're only testing like, in a lot of countries, it's like 0.6% of the coronavirus tests get sequenced. Why is this happening? And then what I'll tell you is the United States government is massively increasing how much money or how much electricity is being used to crack passwords, which means they're doing the same thing as Bitcoin. There's no number that you can find on how much electricity is used by the United States government and by the Chinese government and by the Indian government and by the European governments on hashing to crack people's passwords. There's no data on that, but I guarantee you it's more than Bitcoin. You know why I guarantee you? Because it does the same thing. They're hashing it. They're hashing over and over and over again until they find a hash that matches. So you know what the hash is, but you don't know the password because you can't take the hash and find the password from it. You have to take a password and find a hash from it and then match the hashes. So say that my password is because I want to have a really hard password. How do you find the hash of you have to take a million different, how do you find the password? I mean, you have to take a million different combinations of words and letters and stuff like that. And then eventually you find the end result because they already have the end result, but they can't use the hash by itself. They have to have the password, but sometimes they can use the hash. And that's when who knows about SolarWinds? What were they doing? It's something called pass the hash, where you have a hash and you use that hash. And that's one of the flaws. I don't want to talk about it, but that's a way of hacking certain types of servers. And that's why it's a bitch. It's been a bitch for a long time. A lot of people hate that hack right there because it's very hard to deal with from a security from a Microsoft side. All right, so what I'm trying to tell you is we need to get our priorities in order. But what is our government's priority? We got to hack everyone. We got to spy on everyone. If we can't spy on everyone, then we're not going to be able to spy on everyone. It's going to be bad. Well, our priority should be making sure that these variants are getting detected as fast as possible, because the wider spread they are, the worse they are. I mean, how long did it take the Brazilian variant to get caught? Very long time. Why? Because we're not concerned with what's happening in Brazil. We're concerned with what's happening in the United States. The United States didn't even catch the Brazilian variant. I'm guessing the Brazilian variant was already here before the Japanese caught it, which I'm still not 100% sure the Japanese caught it. I'm pretty sure they did. All I'm trying to say is we need to get our priorities in order. And I don't think we're going to, because some people are obsessed with hacking and some people are obsessed with spying on people and other people are obsessed with trying to save the planet. And those people are the ones that are declared incompetent. I'm incompetent. On Friday, I'm going to be declared incompetent. I'm going to be a ward of the state hospital. I'm going to be remanded into the custody of the state hospital. I'm not going to be an adult anymore. I'm not going to be my own person. The state hospital is going to be responsible for me. That's because I'm not competent. The people that can't use the remote control, because it's so confusing, those people are competent. I'm going to be incompetent, and that's why I'm pretty sure my people plan this, where the worst person in the world can be the person that's trying to help you. It's like, oh, you want us to help you with COVID-19? Here's John Alexander. He'll help you solve it. No. Yes, you've threatened him with guns a million times. You tried to murder him a million times. You've done all these terrible things to him. He's who gets to help you. You guys have to admit that you murdered and framed the Austin bomber in order to get help. Good luck with that. You guys are fascists. That's the thing. Like, the dictatorship of the Harvard Law School, they think that they should be in charge and that they can do it by themselves, but they don't understand. Some solutions need a group effort to solve, and these people in Washington, D.C. that think that they can solve things on their own, they're not going to be able to. Anyways, that's all. I hope you enjoyed this post.